Welcome to the 2021 DC Shorts International Film Festival. This is our 18th year. I'm Raydora Stewart, the venue manager, and on behalf of Peter Morgan, our executive director, we welcome you to our first hybrid festival running September the 9th through the 19th. This year's offerings are both online and live film screenings, panels, and a free filmmaker workshops. We have 95 films selected for more than 900 submissions running in 18 online showcases and 7 live screenings. Visit dcshorts.com for the showcase lineup, workshop sign up, and to purchase passes and tickets. Now, if you're going to attend a live screening, please be mindful of COVID protocols for all of our live events. Proof of vaccination is required to enter the venue, and masks must be worn at all times while indoors in the lobby and in the theater. Now, the DC Shorts International Film Festival could not happen but for all hands on deck. So thank you to our filmmakers for telling such compelling stories, to our patrons for the unwavering support of our new platform, our major funders for catching our vision, the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities, and the DC Office of Cable, Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment, and to our major sponsors, thank you for your generosity and support, the Bertelsmann Foundation and the Goethe Institute, Washington. And lastly, I thank my moderator today, Melissa, who is a board member, for moderating this Filmmaker Talkback. We wish you were in person, and since you're not, just act like we are and just chatter up. And now on to the Filmmaker Talkback. Take it away, Melissa.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Q&A for our Showcase 15. Today, right now, we have 2 filmmakers joining us. We may have a third popping in who we're expecting. But right off the bat, I will just ask each of our filmmakers to introduce themselves and introduce their films. Rebecca, how about you go first?
Okay, thank you, Melissa. Kia ora koutou, everybody from New Zealand. My film, The Finding, is the story of what happens when an estranged teenage daughter turns up to meet her sort of long lost father, and what happened, the reason for their estrangement kind of unravels in the course of the film. So it's a little bit of a mystery, and I'm thrilled to be presenting the film in DC Shorts this year. I'm very excited and wish I could be there in person, but we'll be there very much in spirit.
Great. And Maria?
Hi, my name is Maria. I'm the writer and director of the film KACHUU, Take and Run. It's a film about the tradition of bride kidnapping, a kind of marriage by force. And we shooted the film in Kyrgyzstan. So I'm very excited to be here today, and thanks for having me.
So excited to have both of you. I am really excited about both of these films because they both are about young women coming to terms in the sense with their inheritance, I guess, right? Even though the stories are very different. I'm wondering if each of you, again, Rebecca first and then Maria, just explain to us a little bit about how you came about to the story and how you developed it.
For me, this story had been with me for a very long time. I started writing the screenplay about 10 years ago. And so it was kind of based very loosely on something, on one very small event that happened in my own life. And then I just kind of extrapolated out from that, as the writer's brain does. And it became a story that was very much also about the landscape, which is part of New Zealand, in the South Island of New Zealand, in a place that I've always fallen in love with this particular landscape. It's kind of quite remote. So it seemed like a very good setting for the story that I wanted to tell, which was very much about isolation and people not connecting. And yeah, it's a story about what happens when people do things and it's very hard to come back from them, if you know what I mean. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. Did you grow up around sheep?
Did I grow up around sheep? Yeah, it's funny. I think they say, what is that saying in filmmaking? Never make a film with animals and children, and I did both. But I didn't. Well, you can't help but grow up around sheep in New Zealand, right? There are a lot more sheep than there are people, so it seems only right that there are sheep in the film.
That's so funny. I love to see it. I myself grew up around sheep, and I have a brother that lives in Iceland, and though I've never been to New Zealand, I suppose it's the same. The sheep are everywhere on this crazy volcanic rock.
Oh yeah,
Maria,
yeah.
Maria, tell us a little bit about how you came to your story.
So I heard about bride kidnapping the first time when a friend of mine traveled to Kyrgyzstan, and he came back and he told me about his experience. And he told me about the tradition of bride kidnapping. And I really was shocked, and I felt ashamed because I didn't know that something like this exists. So I live in Switzerland, so I didn't know something about that, and I thought it was kind of my mistake. So something like I never heard it. So then I started to research because I couldn't believe it. It sounds like an action movie, so I couldn't believe it, and started to research, and I learned that nobody knows about bride kidnapping. So it was clear to me I have to make this film because I wanted to know that the people see something like this exists. So I wanted to create awareness to this topic of bride kidnapping, of marriage by force. And then I started writing the script in 2017. And I need to know some Kyrgyz women who had this experience because, as I said, I'm in Switzerland. So it was a long journey, about years, to do this research, to find the people who tell me their stories, to go to Kyrgyzstan, to visit Women's Shelter, Crisis Center. And it's a 4-year journey right now. Yeah.
So that kind of leads into my next question. But also, like, I'm fascinated always by people who want to tell stories outside of their own cultural norms, and especially outside of their cultural practice. And like you're saying that this took 4 years, and oftentimes it's that amount of time that it takes to develop relationships with people in community. So can you describe a little bit about your production process, even maybe before the script was done? Like, how did you work with people whose first language perhaps was not your own language? How did you get people to be comfortable with you and to be okay with you helping them share their experiences in fiction?
Yes, this film was really a teamwork. I could not make this film without the whole amazing crew and the cast. It was really teamwork, and I had I found a Swiss woman living in Kyrgyzstan, and she was in the project, and she said, yes, I'm going to help you. And she was so important because Switzerland and Kyrgyzstan, I think you can't be more different because the people are really different. The culture is different. The way you talk to each other is different. And she really helps us to find a crew, to find the cast, to bring everybody in. So in Kyrgyzstan, they knew this is an important topic, and the cast and the crew had the same goal. We wanted to change something together. So they helped me to understand the culture and the way of thinking. And it was really important to become this family. So it was an amazing experience to shoot and film in such a different world, and to shoot and film in a language I didn't understand, because I wrote the script and then I have to give it to translation, and then I didn't understand anything. So it was a chance to me to really feel the film, to feel how the actress is playing her role. And it was really intense and exciting and heartwarming. So it was an amazing experience with this crew. And as I said, it didn't work without the internet and without the people who helped us in Kyrgyzstan. Yeah.
So Rebecca, even though your film is very different, there are certain difficult elements also to the production of it, including working with animals. And there's one moment where there is a butchering of an animal that takes place. Americans hate that in general. I am not one of those Americans that hate that. But I'm wondering, like, how you navigated that, and was that a concern that you had for international audiences maybe, or even your actors and your crew, and how there is actually a preparation of a lamb in the film. How did you navigate that, and what special, I mean, maybe I'm the only one that's interested in this, but like what special like parameters did you have to have in place in order to shoot that?
Yeah, well, it's strange, isn't it? I think Maria will relate to this as well. When you write something, you sort of just have to write it, and it has to be true to the story that you want to tell. So you know, however long it takes, you end up with the script, and then suddenly you have to take your writer hat off and put on your director and producer hat or whatever it might be, and then you have to actually figure out how to shoot this thing. And my script, as you say, it called for this lamb, dead lamb, the lamb's dead, to be skinned. And this was no mean feat, because apart from anything else, there was a very practical consideration, which was that we needed to shoot the film to get the weather that I wanted it to be, as cold as wintry and possible. We needed to shoot it in the middle of winter. And of course, that's not when the lambs are born. So I actually needed something which was completely unnatural, which was to get a lamb that was not just dead, but had been born and died in completely the wrong season. So this was something I took quite some time to plan for, and I needed to put a lot of contacts out into the community to find, first of all, a lamb that had passed away naturally. So I started asking around for early lambs, and then literally, though, it wasn't until the day before we were due to shoot that scene that I finally got a call from one of my contacts to say that a lamb that had been either stillborn or had died very soon after birth was available. And so that was really the first major hurdle was coming up with the lamb, because we didn't have the budget to create one through special effects. And then of course there was the issue of filming it, and for the actor to know what to do. This is a practice which a farmer would know, but not necessarily an actor from metropolitan Auckland. So actually the farmer where we were shooting the film helped us out with that scene considerably. But I do want to say we only show very small amounts of it. I hope people won't be put off by seeing it. I tried to be very careful about how much I show. And obviously there are protocols around filming with animals, which we totally adhere to.
I think you did a wonderful job. And it is the exact amount of, I think, the visual. And I don't know if a constructed creature would have given the same feel that is absolutely in this film. It's wonderfully done. And it's funny too, because having grown up with sheep myself, like when the dad is skinning the animal and then he kind of is repulsed by it, I'm like, if he's a farmer, why is he repulsed? But then how that plays into the story, I thought was really beautifully done, and something that maybe is a little insider, but I enjoyed it myself. And yeah, you bring up protocols, and I think that's something that I'm sure for many different reasons. I mean, in New Zealand, there are protocols around like cultural protocols, and now you're talking about even protocols around like animal harvesting for film or using animals on film. And I did want to ask you too, Maria, about cultural protocols. Like, so were you asked by the Kyrgyz people at all to follow certain protocols before you started shooting or working with the actors or anything like that?
So I think it really was important for me. So I always ask, I had one translating person on my side, just on my side, because I didn't understand when the actress make a mistake, say something wrong, you know, and she always listened and said, okay, she did a mistake, or okay, it was good. So she was a really important person for me, because I could go to her and ask, how can I talk to the people? Because in Kyrgyzstan, older people get more respect. So I was a kind of shy to talk to the older actress, because I had to say her how she has to do it. But I had to find the right way. And so I had help, but actually, so it was a kind of fear I had, but it wasn't necessary to have it, because the Kyrgyz people know that we're from a different country. So it took just a short time to be this team, and this there was this experience, and I learned you don't need the words to say something when you are kind of connected. So it was kind of magic. And the Kyrgyz women are like really traditional, and they said something like they prayed for us and something like this. So it was like just be with the people and forget to make the things right. So talk with your heart. I think this is the right answer for this question. I learned this so much in this film, and you don't need the same language or the right words when you be connected on this way. It was really something like a magical experience to me.
It sounds like some of the people, or many of the people that you worked with, are not film professionals. Is that true? Are any of them feeling like they want to be now? Did you plant seeds? Now they're going to start their own little industry?
Yeah, it was kind of fun, because when we make the casting, it was kind of open casting, and I didn't know how many people will come to our casting. So it was like I knew 3 days later I had to go back to Switzerland, and I knew I had to find the people, and I thought maybe nobody will come, and I have no cast for my film. And I opened the door, and we had 160 people.
Wow!
from teachers to real actors, and it was really fun because some of them were so shy and didn't say one word, and I was like, how can you come to a casting? So it was really a heavy way to find all the actors. And the main actress was on a school, on a actor school, and some of the actors in the film are like the bartender in the place we lived, so we found them there. And actually some of the actors are bride kidnapped themselves, so they brought their experience to us. So it's really different because the real actors working in this job often are in Russian theaters. So it's kind of different way to work with these actors in the film as in the theater. So yeah, it was like every person had his or her own style, and I have to learn how to work with them. It was interesting because it's really different. The Kyrgyz film business kind of different because they have not this the writer is writing a dialogue and they have to say it like it's written. It's their job to find the right words, and they did it in our way too. So I always had to say, did you read the script? Did you learn what you have to say? No. Oh, okay, then you have to do it right now because we're shooting in some minutes. So, and it was important that they say the words as I wrote it, because we have to edit the film. We had to edit the film in Switzerland, so we had to put the Kyrgyz dialogue into the German written screenplay and find it in the editing room that the words are right.
Wow, that's, yeah, that sounds remarkable and like a lot of work.
Yes, it really was.
Do you think you yourself will, since you've established such relationships there, do you think you'll go back maybe and shoot another story in that community? Or I guess that could be a story for both of you, a question for both of you.
Yeah, should I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
I really wanted to do that because we are friends. So the main actress is speaking English, and we are still in contact. And I thought we shoot it in 2019, and I thought I go back some weeks, edit the film, and then I come back to Kyrgyzstan and we see each other again, and I can show the film in a cinema in Kyrgyzstan. And then we are ready. We made the sound design, color grading, and then there was this lockdown. And since then I couldn't go back to Kyrgyzstan, but when we are all in a safe position, I really want to go back and work with these people again because they really were amazing.
Yeah, after people, when I've had a couple of screenings here in New Zealand for the cast and the crew and people who were involved in making the film, who supported the film, a lot of them come out and say, "Oh, I could watch so much more of that. You should make like a sequel, or you could turn it into a feature." So I don't know. I don't know if I want to go having to look for some more dead lambs again for a while, but. That part of it's the second short film actually that I've made in that part of the country. There's something about it. So I would definitely anytime go back to make a film there. And as Maria was saying, you build such a family in the process of making a film. And I think particularly more so short film because it has typically smaller crews and smaller cast. So you can, and you're often in an environment where you're just spending, we stayed in a very remote country pub, we call it, like a tavern. I don't know if that's what the American name is. Well, actually, we shot the bar scene in the pub where we were staying, where all the cast and crew were staying. And so that's one of the magical things for me about filmmaking, as Maria was saying too, the people that you become close to and the relationships and bonds that you form. For me, I always think that's the best part of filmmaking, actually. There are people that I've met, like Simon, who shot the film, the DOP. I've worked with him since my first film, and I just really prize those experiences, like Maria's, of going somewhere different and meeting these amazing people, and then this magical thing happens. You make this film, which is really magical. That's what filmmaking is, right? It's light on a screen at the end of the day. So, and get to tell the story. So it's something I would definitely. We have to keep doing it. It's just we're driven to do it. It's fun.
You know, you bring up, you must be reading my mind, but so you mentioned a little bit your earlier film, and I wanted to ask both of you about your earlier work and how this film maybe was different, and then what your future films, that's my child, what you're hoping to do after this. People are always curious about the next film, but I'm often, especially when we have international filmmakers, I love to hear where you've come from and where you're hoping to take your work and your career. So Rebecca, you can go first.
Okay, well, as I said, this is my second short film. I made a short film called Eden, which was shot in a very similar part of the country here in New Zealand, but different season. That was summer. And then I've made 2 feature documentary films, actually. And so then to make the short film was very different. And I actually shot it on film. That was another sort of big creative decision that I made, was to shoot this film on 16mm film. So that created a whole lot of more constraints. But I'm so pleased we did it as part of my own filmmaking experience. It was wonderful discipline. So what I would like to do next, I don't know. I'm working on, like, I'm trying to be one of those filmmakers that's got a few different projects on the go. And so I'm working on another screenplay, and I'm working on a couple of feature ideas, and would love to do another short film as well.
Wonderful. Maria?
Yeah, I made a lot of short films in film school. So my last film, I finished film school with this film. It's called The Stowaway. It's about a friendship between a blind woman and a child. And yeah, it's different because I made this film in Switzerland. So there was not this cultural clash in it. And with this film, I learned that I really love it to work with something like true stories from real life. And I think so many things happen every day in this world, and they could be a story. So I really love it to pick them into a film, because a lot of bad things happen in this world. And right now I'm writing on a feature film. It's about a woman. It's also based on a true story about a woman in World War II, and she was helping a town that they're not going to like bombs, you know, from the flight. I don't know the right English word. And
the air raids.
Yeah, they wanted to put some bombs on her hometown, and she rescued the town. And it's also based on a true story, but nobody knows about this hero. And I want to tell her story because it's so important that people remember on people like her.
Yeah. That sounds interesting. I can't wait to see it. we just blew through a half an hour, which I'm quite surprised. Do either of you have anything that you want to share that maybe I haven't touched on? Any last thoughts? You don't have
to. Probably when we finish the call, I'll be like, oh, why didn't I say that?
It's okay. It's okay. It's a lot. It's 4 o'clock in the morning for you and it's 6 in the evening for you, Maria. This was a great discussion. I feel like we're just starting the conversation, but I thank you both so much for getting on this call with me. On behalf of DC Shorts, I want to thank you, of course, and our audience who are going to watch your films on screen. We wish you could have been here, of course, but maybe in another year when you finish these projects, maybe we'll see you again. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciated talking to both of you.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.